And we've got some die-cast cars here that we're going to take apart for the construction team. Actually, the construction ones won't be taken apart. We just need to clear coat them. And we need to take apart the ones for clowns. So hopefully some of you guys won't get too scared. I know there's some people that panic about clowns. Please show me on this car where the clown touched you. All right. We'll see if we can handle this. I'm pretty good to deal with cold. It's like 40-something degrees out here, and I'm not wearing much of clothes, but I'm not going to get dressed up to come out here. All right, so, and then we'll take it back inside. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fire up the compressor. I don't worry about the cold weather with airbrushing. It's not that cold. It's not like it's under freezing or there's snow on it, you know. Hell, this might be the temperature of some of y'all's basement, whatever the hell a basement is. All right, so we're going to take apart. We're going to take apart these clown cars, all of them except one. This one, and here's the reasons why we need to take them apart. We need to take this one apart because the interior is white. Okay, it's just not going to fly, right? I'm not going to change the color on the outside at all. We're going to keep probably the blue wheels on it. I think it works okay. We need to make space for a minigun in there also. So we remove this one. Probably not going to prime it black. I don't want to prime it and then have to remove a lot of things in there and put a minigun in there. I'd like to try and see if I can get a minigun inside there. That's what this thing's armed with, a side-mounted minigun, kind of like a door gunner there, like on a Huey or something like that, something that shoots out of both sides. So that's the idea. That's why we're taking this one apart. Handbow doesn't need to be taken apart. I'm not going to put anything on the inside. The inside's dark. You're not going to be able to see anything. Hando, sorry, not handbow. Hendo. This one is all metal. So in other words, it has a metal bottom and a metal top. Actually does not have a way to take it apart. Good thing I didn't need to. So this is the funny car. It's normally be like, hey, this is going to be a dragster. No, it's called a not so funny car. Not so funny car team, big floppy lead foot vise, wigless Snedden, Schultzy the detail hobo, Willie get a real job Mott, know it all Gabby, and know it all is in no N-O. Could have come up with better stuff than that, but the clowns, man. Are you one of those people that are scared of clowns? I don't understand, I don't understand being scared of clowns. This one's definitely the one that probably needs to be taken apart the most because it's got gold and shit everywhere. And that just doesn't fly. Okay, I don't care how rich you are. I don't think Uday Hussein even had a gold-plated motor. I don't think that's gonna fly. And this one, says fits and giggles on the outside. Shits and giggles. Maximum clown capacity 35. Well, the game only allows me to give them 4 crew members. So we can't cheat the game system. But there's all kinds of roll cages and stuff in there that's all in yellow. It's not really going to work. I like the little yellow wheels. So yeah, that's what we're going to take it apart. Fitz, the founder, and Giggles is the monkey. Barrel full of monkeys. All right, so we're going to first take these apart. Then everything will be taken apart. We can clear coat everything, and then we can move back inside to paint the parts and what have you. All right. 1, 2, 3. We're going to be working on 7 of them. Now, when I was doing the setting up of the clown cars yesterday of how they're built, because that's already designed, and I feel really good about that. I was thinking, I was mistaken that I thought I had more clown cars. And the reason why I was mistaken is there's actually two sets of clowns cars. This is apparently called Crazed Clowns, and it's these 5 vehicles here. Metropolitan Nash, the ice cream truck, the funny car, the milk delivery truck, and the Mini Cooper. Okay, this is the first set of them from 2003. In 2005, they came out with Crazed Clowns 2, and none of these body styles are into Crazed Clowns 2. They've got one that has they're 5 different ones. So I'm like, all right, well, I wouldn't mind having 10 of them, because I bought these as a set for about $15. I mean, not unreasonable. And but the other ones I've only been able to see them individually. So, including one that is really strange. It's apparently called a Fat Tracks, and it's almost kind of like a 32 open top, so a convertible, like Ford, except the back of it has super wide tires on it. I mean, it's actually like tuned. So that one's going to be called, I got to get that one, because I see that one and I'm like, oh, that's Ass Clown, you know, because it literally just has a huge back end. It's it's wider than any of these vehicles, you know, and it's only like this long, but it's like, it's really wide. It's just weird as hell. It's like, that's just too fun, and I have that. So, we'll worry about that sometime in the later future. All right, what we got here, Jeffrey? Not coulrophobic. Is that what's that's scared of clowns? Sounds like you'd be scared of butts. That's what that name. Coulrophobic. Now, hopefully we don't have a jam session here. I'm actually going to test that before we do anything else. I'm going to put a little bit of the cleaner in here, and we'll see if just pressing down, you get any fluid out. We don't. Okay, so it's still clean enough to airbrush. What are we getting stuck on? All right, let's clear that out. Yeah, it's like 40 degrees or something outside. There you are. I knew you'd speak up. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little Dremel pedal thing, and this is actually the one I used yesterday to grind this little part off camera. Now, this is a great device, this handheld Dremel, except it has one thing I really dislike about it is you have to use a key. Well, what's the big deal? Everything uses a key. Yeah, but you have to use a key for everything. So in other words, you can't just loosen it, pull this out, and then adjust this by hand. You literally have to, every single adjustment has to be done with the key. So it's a little tiresome to change bits. So we're going to put the bit that used to be in here. I believe it was this one. Yeah. I want one that's wide enough that isn't going to, yeah, see, I can't just drop it in there. I need to close the jaws a little bit more. And as I've gotten older, I've become less dexterous. So it's a good thing I wasn't a klutz to begin with. I found myself yesterday doing stuff that my dad would do. Great. Well, at least it's my dad and not somebody else's fucking dad. Okay, these guys need to be cleared. Okay, and let's take the Nash first. We need let's do a padded seat for this guy, as we don't want to damage this. I actually don't know if I want to use this, because if something happens, then I'll mess this up, and I don't want this messed up. How about one of the fortifications? That's actually probably a good thing for it. Styrofoam packaging. Yeah, that's not bad. It actually holds it in place. How's that commercial go for crash test dummies? You can learn a lot from a dummy. All right. You know what? I changed my mind. We're doing the easy one first, because this one actually has the plastic grommets. I could actually use the handheld one inside and just remove it. should be enough to remove it. Let's see what we got inside here. It's like Christmas every time you open one of these things up. Oh, look, it warmed up, melted, and then melted back in. All right, let's see what we got in here. They said it closed back up on itself. Good thing we're not in a hurry or anything. All right. Now it's all gone. Always an adventure. See, this gets... this pries in there somehow. Maybe pull this out. There we go. Okay, it's actually a one-seater. Oh, and it's on the British side. It's on the wrong side. No, it's on the right side for the Mini Cooper. Actually, I like these Mini Cooper styles. The new ones I'm not a big fan of. Man, it's multi-parts in here. It's even got the 3 pedals there. Very cool. All right, so this guy is taken apart. We're going to put him in one bag. Okay, I'm going to hand paint the stuff that we have to prime. Is that the only one that has the plastic bottom pins? Yes. This one is, well, I'll put it here, even though we'll have to pull them out for clear coating. Okay. This one is metal. This one we said we weren't going to remove. And this one is metal. Okay. So with these, instead of trying to go through the pin, which is a pain in the ass, I've watched several videos that make it seem real easy. It doesn't work for me. Okay. I just go around it. So let's do that with this. And I don't use one that's more fine tip because I put a lot of lateral pressure on it. I don't want to snap this drill bit. It's already happened before. It's not like this is a really expensive drill bit, but there's no point in wasting one. So I'm actually going to start on this side first. Try to avoid going to the edge there so we don't mess up that bumper. Even though it's going to have a ram on it, which when we go inside, we'll get to pick one. This just has one spot. And just like that, it just sealed up immediately. I thought there was an X-Acto knife out here. There may have been one at one time, and then it... I need to get with my producer. I'm trying to be careful with this so we don't mess up the bumper. Because some of these are really close to the edge. It still hasn't come out a little bit. This is the thing I hate the most about these things, is doing this. Okay. Rocked a little bit. Let's see if that does it. Thank you. And here is the inside, like a little good humor man there. He sits on a little thing. We're probably going to remove him because we need to make room for the minigun. So, yeah, he's got like a holding something to lick there. Hey kids, you want some candy? Okay. And we'll put this in a bin. Even though we're going to take it out in a second. Okay. Hembo, we said we weren't going to remove. No point in it. I'm going to put a grating or something over this. It's dark gray in there. This guy needs... There's so much gold in here. It's crazy. Okay, so they make so many cars that are dragsters. Dragster style cars. They've got that little thing on the back. I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be. Almost looks like one of those little carts you use to get underneath your vehicle. Now, one thing you got to be careful on, all these vehicles that have these colored wheels, or really any kind of chrome, fake chrome, if you handle them a lot, it'll come off. So it's not a big deal because I'm going to weather them anyways. But, you know, it doesn't take much to that stuff to come off of there. Wheelie bar. Oh, a wheelie bar. Wheelie. Oh, so they can do a wheelie, okay, and keeps them from kicking all the way back over. That makes sense. There's no rules for that in Gaslands. I'm sure we'll have some home rules for Gaslands for our games, but we've only played probably 7 times correctly. The last 7 times, so we're still in our infancy. We have a dragster track that supposedly is pretty famous in the town that I used to live in, which I still kind of live there, even though I'm 10 miles north of it. But I have a different address, but still the same area. I've never been to it. I don't see any point in just straight. If it was like Formula One or something like that, sure. But even NASCAR, like you're going around in a bloody circle. Wasn't there a commercial one time that I saw that was like, it must have been probably 15, 20 years ago. It was Nigel Mansell's on it. And he's talking about some NASCAR thing. He's like, why do you go counterclockwise? I think that's what he said. Yeah, it's not natural for me to do things. Like if you're playing like a game at a table, I am dead set again. I mean, unless you're playing Uno that goes both ways. Never go counterclockwise, ever. That's sacrilege. It just doesn't make sense. Play with games with, family members that aren't used to playing games, and they'll want to go, no, we're not going that way. I'm leaving. We're going clockwise. takes money. Let's see what in the Uday Hussein is going on here. Okay, I think we had a center peg, a center something here. Oh, these wheels come off. All right, well, that's kind of a pain in the ass. What do you got in here? Oh, this is one of these compound ones. They don't all come out at once. They're layered. I would never want any of these cars that I just pulled out as a car as a kid. Never would have. I'm like, clown car, that's fucking stupid. You know why? They're right. I want a, Porsche, Lamborghini. Cars you're never going to be able to afford. Cop cars. I always liked cop cars as a kid. But back when I was a kid, cops didn't, if cops killed people and beat them up, you didn't hear about it. Or, people applauded. Yeah! Hit him again! Hit him again! I don't know. It was just different times. It was like back when I grew up, the CIA were good guys. Yikes! Were we stupid? Anyhow. And the FBI, oh yeah, those guys are, those are on our side. Whoa! Gleam. So this is a performance car, and it only has one driver, and that's where the guy sits. And look at his steering column. It is like, what is that video game that had that controller like that? Remember that one that had it was like tanks, but you shot it like, it was made by Atari. It wasn't called Combat. And you drove like a tank around, but it was, hollow, like pyramids, and you shot at other pyramids. Anyways, that's what the control of that thing looked like. You know which one I'm talking about. I just don't remember what it's called. I haven't played it in 40 years and have no interest in playing it again. I'm not a retro gamer like, oh, it'd be cool to play this stuff. No, I suffered with horrible graphics. I don't need to go through that again. Okay, so this we're probably going to... This is definitely going to need to get clear coated. I mean, black washed. Black primed. Geez. And then this will actually look like a more reasonable vehicle. Because you'll have, the silver. It'll look better. Even though it's going to have a big pie thrower on the top. So, you improve one thing and you ruin something else. Somebody's got to know the name of that game. I'm going to have to look it up. It's going to drive me crazy. I'm going to go ahead and remove these wheels too, because I don't want them to get messed up with. That should do it. Combat zone, something like that. All right, that's done. Next, get rid of this. Actually worked really well. I say we keep that around. Geez, fumbles. Getting old, man. That shit used to never happen. It's because of the fucking glasses. I used to do everything with contacts in and didn't use glasses. As soon as you put this, that fuck cup curvature, man, messes with your eyes like you're drunk. That's basically what it is, like you're drunk the whole time. You move your head fast, it's like you're intoxicated. All right, we're going to clear coat this guy and clear coat the other ones. So these two get clear coated. We're going to do clear coats first. We're going to clear coat this. I'm going to go ahead and pop the windows out, even though they'll eventually get frosted anyways. And I'm fine with that. I actually want that to happen. Okay. That's going to get clear coated. Let's be careful. The wheels. I'm okay with the wheels being clear coated. They're going to get clear coated anyways, so this whole thing can be clear coated. This will be clear coated. Let's pop the window out. The Mini Coupe has a, oh, it's got a grommet up here. All right, we'll leave them in. Fuck it. We'll leave them in. I'm actually fine with the glass being green. We'll leave that one in. This whole thing will be clear coated. I don't know how that's attached in there. It ain't coming out. And the body of this, I want to keep those wheels. This is not a good cutter, by the way. You would not do this with the Tamiya cutter. We'll remove these wheels so we can clear coat this and we can black coat this, prime it. Geez, we're having speaking issues today. There we go. I want to keep the blue wheels on that. All right, this stuff gets clear coated. All right, what are we going to use for clear coat? Well, what I have. Vallejo Premium Color. Probably work better if it was an enamel, but we don't have any of those anymore. They got shitty. I was perfectly happy using the enamel products, and then Model Master discontinued them. It's on them. They don't want to sell stuff anymore. Kept all the shitty tester stuff, and they just don't work. And they changed the smell of them. The propellant or whatever in them is just really toxic smelling. I'm not really susceptible to all those smells. Like, I'm not like, oh, I smell the paint, I can't do it anymore. But it's like, there's some smells that are like, this is fucking killing me. Smell. I don't want to smell that anymore. Okay, there we go. All right. Who are we going to start with first? Let's do the construction vehicles. Okay, all we're doing is we're applying this so we can give these guys a brown wash. And we're doing this at a lot higher pressure than I normally would, just to avoid any jams. I don't want to thin this out any. And again, because all I'm doing it is to attach the brown wash, I don't mind grabbing it. It's not like it's the permanent one. All right, next construction vehicle. This is going to be a hoot. I wish I hadn't found out that it was missing an engine. But it looks fine to me. Doesn't need to have this huge. I'm making up for my whatever you call it. I'm making up for something by having a huge engine. Iniquity? I shouldn't use words I don't know what they are without context. I'm making up for my iniquities. You know, when you got that guy that's like 4 foot tall in that big pickup truck that's like, he's got to use a step stool to get inside of. Yeah, that. Hembo! Hendo. Keep calling one Hembo. Hendo. Well, the clown's called Hendo, but that's not what the car is going to be called. Oh, we're going to need more of this. Brown wash will make Not a huge difference on this vehicle because it's dark. I didn't realize how many people were fascinated by that twisted metal clown. Had no idea. I didn't know anything about that until I looked it up the other day, and then I saw, I don't know, watched probably half the first season. It's alright. I mean, it's something to do. Clown's got some funny lines, but got a lot of gore in it. Got some Deadpool type gore in it. Maybe probably even more than Deadpool. Just removing some of the glare on these vehicles is a huge improvement anyways. Now, sometimes the glare keeps you from looking at all the details. You know, you've got all this shine that's in your way. I'm actually going to leave the fact that it says Hot Wheels on a couple of these. It's, I think, too much trouble to try to remove it. These are also not real looking cars, so I can tolerate it a little bit more. All right. How much of this do we have left? Not much. I'm going to give these guys another coat. And we're going to go ahead and rinse this out. It took me like 2 years to, like, I'm pretty comfortable with the airbrush now, but man, it's a, like, why do people do this? And all, I mean, you can watch all the videos in the world, you got to experiment, you got to make mistakes. You know, luckily all my mistakes are pretty much fixable, but this is something totally different. People that can airbrush really well and again can't hand paint, I don't know what planet they come from, but that's weird. Like, I'm really comfortable with hand painting things. This is like, you know, there's a whole level of stuff. Okay. And I actually did walk away from airbrushing once because I was using an airbrush that was a piece of shit. So, oh, but it was cheap. Yeah, okay. Well, you know, the thing is you can buy a cheap airbrush and then you can fight with it every time you have to clean it. You know, how much is your time worth? Is your time not worth anything? You know, do you deserve to be tortured? You know, because if you answer yes to those things, yeah, buy a cheap airbrush. I don't care. It's your time. It's your sanity, pal. All right. Nothing new? Nothing new. Okay, cool. Let's flip this over. And we said we weren't going to hand paint this one because I'm going to have to trim a lot of the stuff in here to get a minigun in there. So we will do that. Not trimming that one. Okay. This one. Man, there's some serious nooks and crannies in this little bastard. We got to get rid of all that gold stuff. All right, so we're going to use Vallejo primer because that's what I have. I may try that Badger one next. I really like this stuff, but it's hard to get a hold of. And it literally costs 4 times as more because it costs twice as much as this one, and this is twice the amount as this one. So that's 4 times. But I felt like this was a lot better. Yeah, but this whole thing's $10, so it's, I mean, it's pretty reasonable. It'll last a long time. And I'm not gonna just not use it. All right, I'm not gonna thin it down at all. Let's get something that is not that's not black. And let's get our little handles. This lasts forever because we're using so little paint. And now when we put this vehicle together, just getting rid of the gold is going to look so much better. So sometimes a lot of these vehicles you have to see, okay, well, what's this going to look like after I fix it? Because, man, it looks like a shit show right now. The wheelie bar. I know. It's before 7 o'clock in the morning, or it was, and I'm already doing coke. Not Coke, Coke Zero. This isn't going to be visible. Oh, nice detail on the bottom of it. Yeah, we can hand paint that part in later. We just build this. Oh, this is in all kinds of little pieces. All right, I'm fine leaving this one, that little part unpainted for later. We got to get rid of some of this yellow. I mean, it's got a roll cage and everything. This is pretty cool. Some of these designers of these vehicles really put a lot of effort into these things. I'll probably paint the roll cage because it's visible, but everything else can just stay black. I started painting it and I'm like, okay, I'm just wasting my time. I realized yesterday as I was trying to go to sleep that you can actually watch the Mad Max movies, the new ones, for free. I started watching one of them, and I'm like, I ain't got time for this. I went to sleep like at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night. There's a lot of movies out there that are just really trashy. I started watching, what was that, Death Race 2000 from like 1975? Who in the fucking right mind thought that's a horrible movie? But it still got me for about 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm not watching this shit anymore. The only reason I'm watching this, let me see if we get some ideas for car builds from this. Yeah, if I was going to make them out of go-karts. Okay, now we have some order here. I'm going to go ahead and take this in like this. And this one too. Make sure we didn't miss anything crucial. Something comes off of it, we can hand paint it. Well, I got another bottle of that Vallejo in there. Now I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do something I hadn't planned on. I don't know how well it's going to work, but it might save me some time. Oh, this. Yeah, I guess I got to prime this too. I guess we got to prime this as well. Somebody said yesterday, I forgot who it was, Man, I'm not as organized as you are. I'm not that organized. I'm not disorganized. I understand that if you have too much chaos laying around, it it's a lot of distractions, and I try to prevent that as much as I can. But there's not that much stuff here, but still, there's enough that I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Well, the wife and daughter come back tomorrow, which is fine. I mean, you know, they don't really keep me from doing anything. Oh man, did we run out right at the end? Son of a bitch. Even though we're going to put a ram on this thing. A very violent looking ram on this. Not necessarily poke you out, but just like gothic. Very gothic looking. That should be good enough. We got all these parts in there except the construction vehicles. So I'm going to grab some yellow. And I'm going to try to touch up those spots that I know are going to be yellow with the airbrush. And see if that saves me a lot of time. It may not work, but it's worth a shot. That's what I got to do anyways. Next. I never airbrushed yellow, so hey, it'd be cool. But we do need to get all this black out. And I'm already out here, so. I can do that thorough of a clean, but I don't mind doing a thorough clean on this. I just don't want to do it every time I use it. It ends up, any small project ends up being like a 40-minute thing. I'm like, you know, I value my time a little too much. All right, let me go grab some yellow and, or several yellows, and I'll be right back. And the only reason I'm hopping around from thing to thing is because it involves drying time. If there was no drying time, I could just power through it. All right, well, let's see if the magic works. And the magic is this special fluid made by Mr. Abbas, formulated by Mr. Abbas. that that really was a turning point for me using Airbrush. Well, I don't know what has happened because I'm pretty successful now. I just did that airbrushing and I didn't have any jams at all. Interesting. And I didn't use any of his fluid. But I'm also not doing really detailed stuff. So that's the Boss Magic Mix. That's what I called it. It's got a little mixer in here. Not a mixing bowl. It's almost like a mixing flying saucer is what it looks like. And this is 70% airbrush flow improver, 30% isopropyl alcohol, I believe, and then 10%. I know that makes out the 100. It's the 110% mix, yeah, and then 10% of the. No, I'm sorry, it's seven. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's 70% airbrush thinner. It's 30% alcohol and 10% flow improver, something like that. That's the three things it has. Anyways, and this basically keeps you from getting tip dry. So he recommends like using it 50-50. I've even used it on craft paint. He didn't know that. I emailed him like, dude, your stuff is so good, it works on craft paint. So I got two yellows out here. This is probably the yellow it's going to be, which is War Master. I've actually never airbrushed War Master. I suspect that it will work okay. I also brought brown in case for some reason I need to put brown down first. I'm going to just go straight yellow and see how it goes. If it ends up being too thin, well, I plan on adding multiple coats, so I don't really have a problem with that. It's not like we're in a hurry. And it's got to be quicker than hand painting it. Because when I'm hand painting it, I've got to use the brown. And it still takes like 4 coats. So what am I going to paint on here? Well, I've got the inside of these wheels. I'd like for that to be yellow. Okay. Obviously, we're going to weather it, but we'd like to have an underlayer of yellow there. The ram up here. The center of the wheels here. And the parts that were chipped on this vehicle, including the grating and these small wheels in here as well, and the back plate. So that's what we're planning on doing. I don't know, it's worth a shot. I haven't airbrushed anything other than clear and black in so long that I'm like, let's have some fun, right? It's a weekend. It's time to have fun. If you're not having fun on the weekend, get your ass to work. So what I've found out is that it actually works better to put this stuff in first. And I don't mix it ahead of time, so I'm going to add about what I think is going to be half of what I'm going to apply. And then mix this up and use this for the other half. And then we'll mix it in there. I like the fact that this works without having to mix it in another receptacle and then transfer it over. And then you get something else dirty, and also you lose some of the paint on the side of that other receptacle. You know? Because some of the paint you want to get the paint on what you're painting, right? So already by putting it in the cup, you're going to lose some of the paint in the cup. So now if you're putting it in another cup, the next thing you know, you're only using about 1/3 of the paint that you're actually putting in there. I'd rather avoid that. Beautiful yellow color. This is Phoenix Flames. I'm not a huge fan of War Painter because of its consistency. This is actually too much, because I don't want to put half of that in paint. So we'll just I'm an airbrush noob. Remember that. Every time I do it, if I make something that looks really good, it's a miracle. If we're hand painting stuff, that's different. That's my jam. Okay? But this is new territory. And the only reason I got an airbrush is to get away from the rattle cans, because they got toxic, basically. So we're going to use this little card over here. See how the color's coming out? Still nothing, still nothing, still nothing. Start to see yellow. Beautiful yellow color. And if it's not exactly the same color, it's close enough. By the time we add a brown wash to it, it's close enough. Okay? Now, here's the part where I'm going to have to sit down. And the reason I'm going to have to sit down is so I can have a back left over. I'm not used to doing this painting out in the middle of the air, you know? I'm used to like having wrists rested. Rested wrists painting. All right, let's lose the glasses. We'll find out really quick whether or not I'm going to want to actually do a brown coat first. Well, for starters, it's too watery. Which is going to take a long time to dry. That's the problem with it being too watery. It'll just take a long time to dry. Ain't nobody got time for that. Probably should have tried it just straight out of the bottle. But the problem is if I have a jam, then I have to stop everything I'm doing and tear everything down for sure. I want to avoid that. That's wasted time. Let's go to this side. Now you see, because it's on black, it looks kind of greenish. That doesn't matter because it's going to end up being weathered. We're going to put a brown wash on it. I don't like doing extra steps that don't make a difference. And again, I don't care if I go on the tire. It looks to me like I'm not going to have to add brown to it. Yeah, see, that's a lot quicker. That's a lot quicker. That's good. That's why we did it. All right, I'm going to get some on the back side here. Don't let it sit on one spot where the paint's sitting on top of other paint and getting really wet. Just like it looks like it's getting too thick there, move on somewhere else. Come back in a few minutes, add another layer to it. I mean, that's the hard part about airbrushing is getting this thing that starts to keep it from spittling. The rest of it's easy, you know? You just got to keep it clean, you know, whatever. the front window here. We're not done with that. We gotta have another coat to it. But if you're painting by hand, the same thing happens. You know, you go and you end up like the difference is you end up like brushing off the paint. So you end up like with paint that doesn't cover really well. I end up doing like that. Don't touch the paintbrush completely to the surface, but use almost like a stippling with a lot of paint, but stippling, and just kind of move it around. And that's worked okay for me. Now, the body of this gun, I'm going to have it in a yellow. So this back body of the gun is going to be yellow. Go back to this area that we did earlier. Add another layer of yellow to it. So because this paint is kind of thick, I'm having to pull it back more than I normally would like. So by doing that, I have to actually step away from the actual thing farther, so the paint doesn't pool on there. But this is actually looking a lot better than I thought it was going to. I'm going to step away from this one a little bit and go to this guy here. Okay, give a chance for that guy to dry out a little bit. Oh, we got somebody new. Who is it? Ross Williams, welcome. Good evening. Hey, not here. I got a whole day ahead of me. Please don't take my Sunday away from me. If I hadn't done this several times, I wouldn't like be really confident how this is going to turn out. I just hadn't used the airbrush before to paint the base colors. And I also hadn't used the base color this troublesome. Okay, let's just be realistic. Yellow is cumbersome, is troublesome. But if I put the brown down first, I need to get all the brown out. You know, I'm going to get overspray on it and then put it, and I'm still going to end up having to use a bunch of layers of yellow. So if I was hand painting it, yeah, I would do it that way. Airbrushing it, I don't really see much point, because we are going to add as soon as we're done with this, we're going to add a brown wash to it. Well, we're going to let it sit a little bit, and then we're going to add a brown wash to it. It'll even everything out. So, well, have we achieved jamdom? I mean, you're still going to tell that there was black on certain corners, but by the time that you add the brown wash on it and the weathering, you won't be able to tell. Now, those other construction vehicles that I have that come in safety cone orange, I'm going to prime the whole thing black and start like this. Those I'll probably do a brown layer and then this, but I'm not going to have the safety orange. I've never seen construction vehicles in that safety orange color. It's too in your face. It's too distracting. All right, now we're going to go back to this one. I'm going to leave this plow in a metal color on the front. The Constructicons. Now those were, I think, green. Those were like lime green and purple. I'm going to have a smattering of some yellowness underneath there. That's probably all this thing needs. It's yellow enough in those areas. Like I said, I like to say this vehicle came from the factory a certain way. That's the color that it comes in. Then they added this other stuff, and they used the color that they had on around that was the closest match for this, and that seems to work. I like how that ends up looking. And when we put the brown wash, we'll do the brown wash on the clown cars first, because it's got the paint that's been drying the longest, the clear coat. Believe it or not, I think this should be good enough. My experience is you don't have to make it look perfectly. By the time it dries and you do the other treatments, it'll all blend together well enough. We have lots of examples of doing that and turning out correctly. Okay, and besides, most of them are going to be like all rust colored anyways. So, all right. So we're going to clean this thing out. I like using the paper towel, getting the most out that we can. Rinse it and then leave it here, and then we'll go inside. Go back to the table. This brush that it came with, the Iwata airbrush, it has this specific Iwata thing. And I don't know what this is made out of, but these bristles are amazing. I've used this. I've abused it. I've been rough on it. Like, I'm rough on it right now, trying to get all that paint out, and it still maintains its shape. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. You do that with any other brush, it would just be all mangled looking. Wouldn't work. I don't care what it looks like. It just needs to be able to, get to where everything it's supposed to get to. There's a little pocket of yellow in there. I don't want to tear this entire thing apart every time I do it. It's just time consuming. I got other things I need to do. And I just use one of these jugs. This happens to be an Arnold Palmer jug. Works just fine, and it's free. If you want to pay $30 for that little thing you spray in, go right ahead. I think that's a waste of money. And you're trashing it. By using it, you're basically, you're making it look like this. Like all shitty inside. Now, the one bad thing this has, I don't know if it's a bad thing, it hasn't been a bad thing yet. I've been airbrushing for a couple of years, and I've been using this for a couple of years now. It doesn't evaporate really well, so I may have one hell of a science project in there. Might be somebody might come by here. We have to extract some information instead of like waterboarding them, we could just make them drink that. Hey, I found a use for it. All right, get the hand sanitizer. Get any paint that's on you. Comes right off. Amazing stuff. And who the hell doesn't want their hands clean? And it's just in time for the sun to come up. The sun comes in this window, and it's hard for me to see. So perfect timing. We will take the pressure off. Release it. Unplug. Bring our Coke in, the stuff in. I will shut off the video, and we'll see you guys on the inside here in a moment. It's not going to be a new video. It'll still be this one. We just take off the camera, and we'll take off the sound. Okay, and we're back. It's hard to find one mount for your camera that works the best all the time. It took me a long time to find one for my car that worked really well. It basically, I want to say it's indestructible, but let's just say I've had it 4 or 5 years and I never had to replace it. As opposed to having one for like 8 months and you have to get a new one. It took me a long time to find one, but all right, we have to do one more thing first, and because I'm not going to look at your comments, assuming that there are any, on my phone because it's facing the wrong damn way. So we'll fire up the computer. And we'll look at the comments that way. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing this. This was like super. I can't imagine doing things not this way. And going through that kind of process, I can't see the numbers here to enter my own code so I can come in my own freaking computer. It's my computer, let me in, damn it. I hate password for my own computer. I don't have anything exciting on it that people would want to steal. It doesn't go anywhere. All right, let's put this on here. And you have the illuminated keys, but man, I can't see them. All right. We're going to view the channel, right? We're going to go here. And we're going to go, come on. All right, and we are caught up. Okay, cool. And we're going to change this to live chat. Okay, and we're back. Now we're back. All right, so these are the items that go with each individual vehicle. So I think what I'm going to do is, remember I put these extra baggies in the garbage for safe storage. These extra bags that I had. There's nothing bad in here. There's just like Coke bottles that are sealed up, and you don't have any food or anything like that. It's the hobby garbage can. So I'm going to take these in here so that we don't have all of this stuff on our workplace. So this is the ice cream truck. We have the little droppers here, the instructions of how to build it. Man, you're really organized. No, I have to be. You know, I value my time a lot. So the last thing I want to do is be like, man, I wish I would have built it this way. Like, let's do it right the first time. And I started yesterday with a clean slate. Well, that didn't last long. And I basically used the skills I wanted to use, all on different vehicles, and all of the weapons that I wanted to use. So, turned out really well. Okay, that's just going to make it a lot easier to find this stuff. Okay, these are extra parts that are going to be in here. And let's put my glasses on again. Morning, everyone. From northern Michigan, beautiful 17 degrees. I'm glad you could join us. Man, that was completely unintentional. But you were there with the likes of Hitler. The one guy named Hitler. You probably got when he came out. I think it was a work for him. He came in as Hitler and had a little icon of Hitler. I'm like, get out of here. Go cause trouble somewhere else, man. Your mom is calling you for breakfast. All right. Brown wash time. All right, so we're going to brown wash the clown cars first. Because they've been drying longer. And then while that's drying, we'll mess with, you know, stuff like carving up the inside of this thing to, you know, make it look like it's got the minigun and things like that. Okay? Hendo. Did I finally say it right? Yes. All the items that are going to need to be clear coated. In brown. Found a way to make this chair squeak as well. I need to work at a quality control department at a chair place. All right, send in Tony. Let's see if it's broken. I'm like that American, it's not Samsung, an American Tourister gorilla. The guy in the gorilla suit from the 70s, that commercial. You just throw all the freaking things everywhere. All right. Grab a new one of these. We'll probably roll into these guys as well. All right. First things first. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of glue. Ooh, I still have a glue dab there. Where's the toothpick that should be floating around here somewhere? I said, yeah, if you think I'm really organized, you must live in a mess. I try to be organized, but, you know, shit gets out of control. I guess grab another toothpick. I mean, they don't grow on trees. Well, or do they? I don't have a toothpick tree, so I do have to get them from somewhere. Well, let's not use that style. Let's use the style that is a toothpick on both ends. And let's see if this old super glue is still okay. It's cold enough in this house. It probably didn't set. Yep, still good. Perfect. Let's try it. We're going to go ahead and glue the wheels on this bastard first. Dairy delivery is what this thing is called. Hando. Handouts, the clown. Speaking of handouts, man, is there a homeless person problem everywhere? I mean, I remember the 90s really well, and there weren't homeless people in the 90s. They're everywhere now. Maybe you used to hunt them for sport in the 90s. I don't understand. You should do a Warhammer tank and make it look like World War II colors. But I don't do Warhammer. I should get Warhammer people to do my stuff. I don't do Warhammer. I don't do 28 millimeter. I don't do Warhammer, not because I hate the company or everything. I mean, I think they make good products. They just do stuff that just doesn't appeal to me. It's exaggerated. It just doesn't. And I don't like 28 millimeter stuff. I don't do 28 millimeter. There was a guy that was, I watched this show that somebody else was doing on how to get more subscribers. Not that it's a huge deal for me. By the way, this is an old one. This body is 1977. This is an old body. Of course, it's metal top, metal bottom. And this guy basically said, you know, don't chase viewers. You know, just do what you do. And if people are interested, they'll come by. And if they're not, they won't. And I'm like, well, that's good because I'm not worried about that because I don't really care for viewership. I need some company to stay on track. So, well, that's not true. I have done Warhammer figures. A long time ago, like 1989. There was this squad of, like, I never played it. This squad of Imperial Space Marines that were pictured in White Dwarf. Not Imperial Space Marines, Imperial Guard. Which is funny, they're Guard, but they're shitty troops. And I painted up a squad of them. They probably look like a melted asshole if I looked at them now, but... No, what I probably would do is, in the venue of what you just said, is do some more dinosaurs. Because I haven't played the dinosaur game, but I did enjoy painting that Stegosaurus. That I did. Okay. Let me guess. I don't have the little grippy things here. All I need is one. I can just push them out of the way with something else. I'll just do that. All right. We're going to keep the unpainted ones here. And as we paint them, we'll push them on that corner. It's like, man, you should watch sports. No, I want athletes should be watching me paint. Fuck them. Why do I have to follow them? I don't care what people do. Here we go. Here's one. Now, I'm spread too thin as it is. As a matter of fact, the last time I bought a bunch of tanks, the last show I went to, and that's when I picked this. Oh, did I pick the wrong color? Yeah, I've got dark tone. Senior moment. Strong tone. It's strong tone, you moron. All right, I'm going to get some water in here in case I need to cut this down a little bit. I don't necessarily want this to be so dark that it covers up over the details. I want to be able to see these graphics that are on here. Now, don't worry about, hey, you should brush it from the top down. Man, I can't worry about every fucking thing, right? If I just keep doing things the way that I've been doing, I will be extremely happy with how they turn out. It's been that actually was a concern a while ago. Well, it's been a while ago that I was concerned about. If I do something now, and I do something to add to the collection in a year or so, is it going to look, has my style changed so much that it's going to look like it's been made by somebody completely different? Because that'd be annoying. I don't want it to look like that. Nope. That isn't the case. I've had multiple examples where I went back and added something to the collection and it looked just like I had intended to do it all along. Haven't had to do that very often, but that's why I was actually a little hesitant going to that one show, that one event where they were promoting all of the ammo MIG products of, some enamel products and all this kind of stuff. It's like, well, what if I start making my stuff like this and it looks vastly superior and better than the other stuff? I won't like the other stuff that I was perfectly happy with. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. Those products just weren't all that in a bag of chips. I'll say stuff and I'll bring things up because it's genuinely better than other things that I've done before. I'm not trying to get you guys to buy new products, right? It's like, man, these guys already bought them all. I got to come up with new shit for people to buy. I don't do that. I've said it many times, be frugal when you can be frugal. There's no point in throwing the money at everything. We got to save our monies for, when you got to buy a car or something like that, costs significantly more money. Sports suck. Oh, do they? I don't know. Women's long jump is okay to watch, but I don't know when it's on. Just saying. Okay, this clown. Hey kids, want some candy? I gotta see if the next whatchamacallit film is available. The next Purge film. I don't know that it is. You know, available to watch for free. I don't want to spend money on it. If I don't spend money on something, I can walk away from it. If it's not very good, I can walk away from it and be all right. I don't want to walk away from something that I actually rented, you know? Besides, there's lots of free stuff to watch on there. Well, no additional cost stuff. Yeah, I'm not trying to convert anybody. If you use enamel products and you're perfectly happy with them, keep using them. I tried them, they didn't work for me. I don't like the smell. I don't find that they work any better. And they're not available locally. Purge Anarchy. Yeah, I saw that one already. That's the one I just saw. And it was okay. Election Year is the next one I got to watch. And I realized that the Mad Max movie, you know, the new one, the newish one from 2015 is available. So I probably should watch that before it's not available, considering I've never seen it. I'd probably watch it. Hey, let me see if I get some inspiration. I won't find anything inspiring about it, I'm sure. I have to find out if the daughter wants to see it. I doubt that she would. It's a little too dirty looking, I suspect. It's a little too dreadnought for her. The dreadnoughts. Oi! Dry brushing, washes, tones, all I do. Yep. Yeah, no. You know, powders get a light color stuck in a crevice. Like that's against my mantra of how I paint. Other people want to do it, that's fine. I don't paint that way. I don't like how it looks. Yeah, it looks good, but I don't like how it looks. It's you can't it gets blurry at 3 feet away. Need more contrast. I want all my nooks and crannies to be dark. Okay. This just adds a little bit of, I don't like to use the word modulation because it just didn't fucking exist when I was doing models. It just makes the whole surface look uneven. Like a real car does. You go out and look at your car now, it's not like everything reflects the same amount of light. It's just different. It looks more real. Okay, I don't like that this Treats for Creeps has that wash stain there. And makes the bottom of it dirtier and you can't read it. So this is Hanbo, oh really? It didn't stick? Okay, well some of the wheels rotate okay, as long as it's Really, 2 of them is probably enough. Hando, the 4-armed wonder clown. Parties, picnics, playtime, anytime. Well, that may be the name of the clown in there, but it won't be the name of the car. So, this one of these we're going to have balloons coming out of it. I think it's going to be this one, the balloon popper. That was one of the name suggestions that I got. The balloon popper. You're going to show up and pop your bubble. It's all an act. Okay, that's what's written on there. It's all an act. Yeah, he's just a criminal. And these aren't demonic clowns. They're just they're clowns that are crazy people. Actually, I've never seen the movie, but I watched it. I was looking for clown names or some shit like that. And I came across a bit. Yeah, see, I don't know if I could even show this to you. This is what this wash is for. Let me see if I can. When you apply it over. Oh, why is my screen jammed? What the fuck is going on here? Oh, I didn't hit play? All right, well, let me look at... Yeah, you need to be able to follow along and see what you guys are doing. I can't show you what's going on if I can't. All right, so here is this wheel well. See if I can find the camera. This is the wheel well here without the wash on it. This area above the wheel here. And then when we add the wash to it, it just changes the tone of it. Military shade tone is your favorite. That's like a green, right? I don't have that one. It keeps me really easy to remember what it adds just another tone to it. I've been really happy with this, with the results of this. And see, this will allow it to actually stick over this decal. Had I not added that flat coat, it wouldn't stick to this at all. Let go with that. Yeah, lots of people don't like clowns. I dislike mimes more than clowns. I think what I don't like about mimes is they don't make a sound, but they hear everything. So they're like cheating. Like, all right, if you're a deaf person, okay, you're allowed to be a mime. But you can hear everything I'm saying and you're not saying anything. So you're like cheating. Only deaf people are allowed to be mimes. We'll come back and those things will be end up painting. I like this clown logo that Hot Wheels put on there. It's like this, it's like an angry clown is what it looks like. Fucking no good, kids. Yeah, this is like a sequestering van right here. It's all inside. You want some candy? It's all inside, folks. Clown sounds like he needs a fucking lozenge. Yeah, it's subtle, but it makes a difference. This little washy-washy. All right, we should be good to go. This is the demolition one. Not so funny car team. Well, nope. The whole team isn't that. I really wanted to make this one a, what do you call it? A dragster. But a dragster is so little points. And so susceptible to just be a lawn dart. It also, honestly, this vehicle looks too meaty to be a dragster. I got a dragster that's like pencil thin. That's actually looks more like what a dragster performs like in this game. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this stuff on here. The problem is sometimes, and this didn't start happening until recently. You think, oh man, what is this stuff that's on the brush that I'm trading? It's actually the clear coat that's rubbed off a little bit. It's almost like the clear coat pills sometimes. You know, we're going to weather this thing, so it's not that big of a deal. Happened on the Viper. I think it happened on the Viper for the first time. Oh, I got some smiley faces. Who the hell is this? Hot Wheels Originals or Hot Wheels Ciudad Juarez a mitad de precio. Did I tell you about the movie we owned the night? You did. You did. I'll have to look for that one as well. What's the theme of that one, though? Is it a car thing, or is it a violent thing, or, you know? What was your question? Hot Wheels Originals or Hot Wheels Ciudad Juarez a mitad de precio. That would be the Mexican guys. Yeah, no, these aren't the low on the lowrider teams. Juarez is on the other side of El Paso, something like that. No, I did like 5 or 6 Mexican cars. I got more to do. It's time to add some of these clown guys. I've had these guys a long time. My favorite vehicles to do in this game is like a vehicle that I would like never drive. Like I never drive a clown car. I never drive a Mexican lowrider. I mean, they're like way over the top. You know, I never drive one of the blaxploitation vehicles. But I love doing those vehicles. They're really cool. But most of the cars that you find are actually Hot Wheels. It's hard to find a good variety of Matchbox, and even harder to find a variety of the off-brand stuff. The problem with the off-brand stuff is they don't have interiors, which isn't a problem for me most of the time, but I built a couple of them and they're fine. I have a fair number of them. A fair number of them to build. What do we have that's up here that's an off-brand? The monster truck is an off-brand one. Tree Fitty is an off-brand one. So is the Colorado truck. So is the Pimped Python. So is Leadfoot. The first one I did was actually an off-brand one. Yeah, Leadfoot's actually a really cool vehicle. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to translate that because, let's see. Cajón de rastrillo con 1000. I'm just too far away from the screen. Let's see what you got here. Cajón de rastrillo con 1000 cochitos de 70 generaciones y 33 colegios restaurados y vendidos. Okay, I don't know where you're going with that, but okay. Lost in translation. Yeah, so I got this case the other day, and if I filled it up immediately. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm back to square one. I don't have anywhere to put these things. And that was 58 vehicles. So, and we've got, if I built everything I have, I probably have 6 times more. So, I don't have to put them all out. That's the reality. I don't have to put them all out. I enjoy doing these. It's therapeutic. They're cool. The wife seems to like these a lot more than any of the other stuff that I do. The cars. I don't blame her. It's something that's relatable. Everybody knows what a car is. T-34, a Sherman tank. She can't. I mean, she can tell the difference if you wanted to. It's not like she's stupid or something. It's just like doesn't care. Will in the Night is about good cops and bad cops. Father, son are cops. Other son owns a nightclub and has connections to the underworld. Okay, let's see how we do with this wash. As you would say in Spanish, un baño de suciedad. Dirty bath. Bath of filth. Yeah, let's go pretty thick on this. Let's go pretty thick. There's actually a lot of detail on this thing that would be a shame if you don't get to see it. Javier, where do you live again? I forget. Are you in the Americas or are you in my country of origin? Who was it that said that? I think it was Jeffrey. I love it. It's true. That's where I fucking come from. I mean, I don't come from there, but my people came. And I tell you what, after going to Spain, I feel it. I feel it like in my soul. There's a connection there that I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. I've never felt anything like that before. I don't want to live there. I could live there, but it's like the opposite of like New York. I don't feel like I don't belong in New York. I went to Spain. I felt like I belonged in Spain. New York's not my problem, not my people. Piso mojado. That's all I know. What for? Cuidado, piso mojado. The difference with the problem with people that speak Spanish, yeah, I'm going to go there. I'll tell you like it is. My dad, I never spoke English to my dad ever. Or my mom. It's fucking weird. It would be weird to speak English to them. But they never were like, I'm not going to learn English. Or like, people are going to have to learn Spanish if I'm around. No, it's like, it's an English speaking country. You need to freaking learn and accommodate. And when you're at home, it kept me fluent in both. I just never went to school in Spanish, so I don't have a vocabulary, No, where's Javier from? I know where you're from. We can find you. Although, when you showed me pictures of your yard, it made it sound like you were farther away from other people. I mean, you don't have people on top of you, but your neighbor's right there. Yeah, you better behave. So that's the difference is, my dad's generation, he came here because he couldn't live in his country anymore. It was untenable, it went commie, so you can't live there, right? So it's not like, well, America sucks, and the only reason I'm over here is because my other country, that was never the case. That was never the case for him. So he never had a bad attitude about this country, and but he didn't forget where he came from. So, and there's some people, I'm not saying all of them, but there's some people that are like, this place sucks. Well, why are you over here? This place sucks. Well, let's make it better together. Not like, yeah, fuck it. It's like, it's just a different attitude. When I grew up, the people that were in the same boat that my dad was in, how ironic. I don't really mean that because I don't think he came over on a boat. I think he flew over, but I don't know. But they're the most patriotic American people I've ever met. But it's different times. It's different times. Well, I showed the gravel pits that's right down the street from. I didn't watch that video. It's the one that had that cute little. I love that little pine tree you have there in your front yard. I think that's your front yard. It's all snow covered, so. I'm dioramic, World War II, 142, no game tables, no graphics. Okay, yes, but where do you live, Javier? What country do you live in? I can't remember if you're Argentina or you're Spain. Yeah. The wife and daughter just probably are getting off the cruise ship right now. And I'm not really, well, first of all, I wasn't invited to go on this cruise because it was a girls' cruise. And even if I had been, I'm glad I wasn't invited because I don't know how I would have been able to go with the workload. And after going to Europe, it really, and I like cruises. It really took, I don't like cruises as much after going to Europe. Europe was fucking awesome. The other thing is, there's a way to build these things to spend even more time on them. I don't want to do that because, first of all, I have a lot to do. Second of all, they look good enough for the detail that the game has. Actually, they look a lot better than the game deserves. The game is a really pretty basic game. You know, like those guys that play Warhammer stuff, right? Now, I don't paint Warhammer stuff. I'm not interested in the game. I've seen some of the work that the good Warhammer painters do. And they're awesome. They do great work. The game doesn't deserve that kind of workmanship. The game is extremely generic and like, you know, roll 12d6, okay, and roll threes to save, and that's all the same. It doesn't matter that this guy has like a cool cap on or that he's got special boots. They're all lumped in and they're all treated the same. So like the game doesn't deserve that kind of attention to detail, in my opinion. So but it does allow me to have my creations come out on the table, and you move them around and make, you know, and interesting scenarios happen with them. So that works. And, you know, they paint relatively quick. They paint a lot quicker than, they take me about as long to do one of these as it does to paint like one World War II figure. So in that respect, they're all right. Well, people could probably say the same thing about my DBA stuff. Man, you spent a lot of time painting those armies, and it's kind of a basic game. Yeah, well, I don't play a game anymore. Even though that wasn't really one of the reasons why. You know. But, you know, the Game Workshop rules were made by the people that sell the figures to sell figures. So, like, you need a lot of figures to play this game. Of course you do, because they have to sell figures. Now, look at this. The scum, this is actually the level of the clear coat coming off. All right, we're going to leave that alone. Maybe I need to be a little bit more gentle. And it's going to get another layer of clear coat when we're done over it. It's not a big deal. By the time you end up putting mud and shit on it, you can't tell that. It's just kind of like, I wasn't expecting that. Man, get what ice. Man, I'm starving. Tony, your Tuning Cars limited edition. Well, I'd like to think that what I'm making them look better. You know, it may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I would never sell my World War II figures or my Ancients, but I'd consider selling these. And it's not because I don't like them. It's just that, you know, it's not a torturous amount of time. You know, I put so much effort into doing the Ancients. Like an Ancient army, you know, a DBA army, which isn't a lot of figures. I mean, there's thousands of hours in it. And the problem is that's like, to get it done, you have to stay on that topic. You can't just be like, hey, that clown car looks good, let me work on that. You can't. You have to stay on topic for 6 months. And after 6 months, you come up for air. Otherwise, you don't get it done. And with this, I have this, you know, freedom of like, maybe I want to paint a pink car next, you know? Well, do it. You know, nothing's stopping you. So I like the freedom that this gives me. Could the game be better? Of course. Will the game be better? I don't know. We'll probably have some house rules at some point. No, not really in a hurry to do it. You know? You know, we don't want to be like that one guy in Fanaticus that's never played DBA, and he's always like wanting to change shit, and he doesn't have, you know, a backlog of lots of games knowing what the repercussions of changing it are. You know, I don't want to start changing things that they do in Gaslands and then realize, you know, in like 6 months, man, we probably shouldn't be playing it this way because now something else is out of balance. The game is, I don't know if the game is that balanced, but the game does a good job of giving you fun stuff to do with everything. And that's really what it's about. Is you want to have a good time. Have a good time. You want zany shit to happen that's worth laughing about. It's going to provide the you're never going to believe this moments. And that's the stuff I want out of it. And probably the thing that I've done the most right is make these categories of points that, you know, this is a 27-point vehicle and this is a 27-point vehicle. So you can switch them out and there's some form of balance in it. And also, so you don't put, you know, 120 points on one thing and everything is a badass and has no weaknesses and that kind of stuff. Now, the whole point is that these vehicles do have weaknesses and they can't just do everything, you know. Now, you're still going to be able to see the color difference here. But when we do the dry brushing and stuff and the weathering, you know, and these actually might be spots where I will put more corrosion and stuff on it. I just didn't want it to be yellow and a chipped metal piece off where silver is showing underneath. And I'm forced to use that silver color in it. You know, it needs to be covered over with something else. And that's just how I got this thing. It was used. Some kid pun, you know, it's probably outside, you know, because you can see some of the paint is kind of flaked off in those places. But at the end of the day, it's going to look fabulous. It's going to look better than real construction equipment. So who's in that Wheel in the Night movie? Wheel in the Night actually sounds like a Pat Benatar song or something like that. Ok. Tú piensas que eso, pero los tuneos ahora y no los fabrican ya. Nunca más en la vida. ¿Cuánto te da el chino por los? Are you going to do chipping on? I don't do chipping on anything. I hate chipping. I hate how it looks. Even when it's done right, I don't like how. So no, I do drippings, and yeah, it's going to be super drippy. I don't do chipping. Chipping didn't exist. You know, I'm old. I guess chipping didn't exist when I was doing models. Okay, in the early '90s, the best modeler, par none, was this guy named Francois Verlinden. He was Belgian, I believe, and he put out his own products, and he, you know, did far and above better than anybody. You know, maybe not now. Maybe there's people that are better now, but back then he was the guy to emulate, and he didn't do any chipping. I don't know when chipping started, probably sometime between now and then. I don't like how it looks. I don't. I've seen like an Africa Core vehicle that's chipped up from being in the desert. It looks, there's so much distraction. The chipping is so distracting to my eye. I don't like it at all. I'm not saying, you know, you shouldn't do it. You know, maybe it's your design. I got a book by Verlin, and he doesn't have any chipping in there at all. So there's things that I like in my style. That's one of them that I don't do. I love the drippings though. So, you know, that is kind of like chippings, you know, weathering and stuff like that, you know. Oh yeah, of course they're going to have weathering, man. They're going to be more rusty looking than the yellow bastard. You know, the yellow is a great, this is like the best color for weathering. Now, repainting, it's a pain in the ass, right? Because it just doesn't cover well. That's fine. You know, we know that going in. Not a big deal. There's other ways to get around it. Um, this will look, I'm telling you, this is going to look fabulous. I've done lots of yellow vehicles. There's some of my favorite vehicles, the yellow ones. And yeah, I wish my car was yellow sometimes, you know. And my wife says, "You're too old to have a yellow car." I said, "No, I'm too old for a Buick. I'm too young for a Buick. I'm not too old for a yellow car." But yellow weathers great. It's a bright color that you could dull. It still looks good. It's really a good color. You see my yellow cars. I got two. I got two full-on yellow cars, completely done. See if I can open this without falling down. Gotta have a door on it to keep it from the dust from getting in here. So this thing I got all beat up, and it's a Prelude. I got this thing all beat up. Same thing. I touched up the yellow in spots, and you can't tell where I touched up and what I made look. I love anywhere that has a fuel. Hold on a second. You guys are getting a lot of. There we go. This is killing all the warmth of the color. I love this car. I always wanted one of these cars too. Can't afford them. They're too expensive. Hondas are like fucking made of gold. And the Yellow Bastard, which is the original yellow car. I picked this one up specifically because of the striping that was already on it. Beautiful car. The Rush shows up really nice on it. This is where I found out that I needed another way to do the netting. Because what happens is you probably don't know this, and there's no reason why you would. The tolerances, Hot Wheels, and really all these cars are actually, as a general rule, really well detailed products. And the tolerances between the insides and the outside is very tight. It's so tight that if you try to put this mesh, the thickness of the mesh makes it so that it doesn't close together properly. But, you know, none of this was painted in the back. This is a cool car, you know? And this is what I'm talking about, color matching. You know, this isn't the original color as this, but it's like this was built in a factory, this yellow, and they went to somewhere to make this all Mad Max. And like, well, we want the turret to look yellow because otherwise it looks really out of place, right? And they got the closest yellow they could, you know? So my favorite one though, if somebody says, which is your favorite car? It's probably this one. The striping on it is great. It's got some armor plates that are kind of color matched. The sponsors that were already on there are great. I don't know, just something about this one. I really like it. One of the first ones I did, and I never glued it together. I didn't want it glued together because I might have put a figure in there. And actually, the interior, this is one of the things I really like about doing this stuff. You can go online and find out a Barracuda, what color interiors they have, and it actually has a green interior on it. Figure, well, I'm gonna have to put a figure in there. I'll probably need to seal it up. I'm not putting figures in these vehicles, not because I don't want to paint figures. Oh, contraire, I would love to put figures on them. There just aren't any available that are affordable. You know, I mean, this car is damn near free. The bits basically quadruples the price of it, and the figure would probably multiply the price of the car by 15. The figures are like, they're like $8 a fucking piece. Like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to do that. But, and the garbage truck is fucking awesome. And this was just a bright mother. This is just a bright mother. And this is, so yes, the construction equipment is going to look like this. It's going to be weathered like that. Te falta la sangre en la defensa y las tripas en el motor. Well, the closest, I don't want them all bloody. However, I have one that is, and the reason why is, this is el carnicero. So the carnicero actually has blood and blood splatters. I love doing the drippings. I love that part. It's my favorite part. Yeah, el carnicero. Yeah, so all of my Mexican trucks have Spanish names. Either if they have compound names, one's in English and one's in Spanish, or they're both Spanish. My French cars are going to have French names. Italian cars have Italian names. It makes sense. It's part of the, it's part of the thing. The one I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out is this one. Because it was this Durango that had Fandango written on it. I'm like, I got to do something with it. This thing from start to finish is probably the biggest improvement. But this graphic was already on there. Why would I repaint that? Like, that's cool. So, work with it, we added some pistol ports on there. We added this thing on top, pair double AKs, ram on the front, which I guess broke off. So I have a little piece of stickum on there. That works. Some extra cans. He throws a lot of Molotov cocktails and stuff. So if you run out of gas from Molotov cocktails, there's some on there. The lights, none of the lights were painted on there. So you go online, you see what the light looked like for this model truck. You put that on there, If you've got some lights that are like on the Ford Focus that are recessed on the actual vehicle, in other words, the light bulb doesn't go all the way to the end, I had to come up with something so it looks like the bulb is in there, but not, like it's on. It's easy to do one that's like this style. Like all this detail was already on the vehicle. That RS logo was there. It just wasn't painted. It's like the designer says, we're going to put all this stuff, and the paint department says, I got 2 colors. We ain't painting it. How many Gasland cars am I going to build? I'm going to keep building them. I ain't tired yet. I'm not tired yet. But the striping on some of these things are just amazing. Look at this thing. This is the Crimson Cuervo. That's Crow for you guys. Crimson Crow. Look at the striping that came on this vehicle already. It's beautiful. That's the color of the window. I was like, it's perfect. Put some rockets on there. Good to go. Awesome vehicle. I love these things. I mean, And the only one that I made apocalyptic, well, El Carnicero is apocalyptic, is the gas hole. By the way, this is the type of ram that the crazy clown's going to have. This guy's going to have this type of a sinister ram. That one's actually a Ford Ranchero. Do I have a Camino yet? Let's see. Do I have a Camino built? I don't. I don't, but I have several. I have several coming. Yeah. The gas hole. Yeah. And some just come in a beautiful color. Tree Fitty is a beautiful colored car. This is a off-brand vehicle. It is it's a Maisto. I think it's a Maisto. I don't know. Well, let's see if it says Maisto on the bottom. It says Maisto on the bottom, which come from China. Okay, so we painted some the headlights on there. Added a tag on there. 350. It's 350 calibers. I know they don't really look like 50 calibers, but we had to kind of do something. So there's one in the back, there's one in the front, and one on the turret. It came in this beautiful green color. It's beautiful. Like, why wouldn't I keep that same color? You know, it's tuned out a little bit. That's all right. Some tuned things look all right. One of the weirdest looking cars that I had to do something with is this thing called the Bully Goat. And it's actually called Bully Goat. And on the side of it is spelled Bully Goat. It's like, we got to do something with that. So I think these pieces that are black and weathered used to be in another color. Put a ram on it, make it all weathered. This thing's bad. This thing's badass. You know? I think this is supposed to be, well, it's a make-believe vehicle. Looks Camaro-ish. So tuned vehicles, this thing. Speaking of trucks, this is an F-150. This is La Troca Loca. Troca is like a, like a slang for Mexican slang for truck. You know, the front of it was all red. There was nothing that was, the entire front of this was red. But look at the details that are on this vehicle already. I love this shit, you know? It's awesome. Am I done World War II? I'm taking a break. Here's the reality about World War II. So much effort for me to put on a game with the detail that I'm willing to do. I don't want to play, something half-assed. So, and then some look all right. They just have a minimum of stuff done to it. Like this is Guns and Hoses, and Guns and Hoses has this big minigun underneath, front-mounted minigun, and this was all open. So we added armored plates on here. We added these little vision slots, these vision. All that's made with pieces of this. I don't really like these wheels with the little spin things on them, but But I generally like seeing something and go, oh, that makes a good such and such. Okay? Like I grabbed this, I wanted a monster truck. I grabbed this, I'm going around, I'm looking at, oh, this is about the right size. Oh, wait, what's on it? A paw. I'm like, oh, this is Pussyfoot. I'm like, done. Pussyfoot. And this is an off-brand thing. I don't even know who the hell this is made by. I did find out, and I forgot again who it was. But, there's all these little footprints on it. Like, yep. This had a lot of red stuff on it. It was like navy and red. Like, no, you can't have, like this underside, this was all red. Like, no, that's not going to work. That's just, And then some things are just kind of bland. This is the original color that this came in. This is Poppycock. And we even have a little Union Jack that we hand painted on there. Kind of basic, but this is the color it came in, like a putty. I believe the color is called Harumph Putty. Got a Vickers there. Oh, give him a Vickers. Redneck vehicle here, which looks like some of the paint chipped up. Oh, I don't have enough clearance there between the actual turret. Oh, we got to fix it. Oh, well, shit happens. And it's on a magnet, too. This one's actually magnetized. We can turn this thing around. This is my redneck logo. We're not using Confederate flag. We're just using this logo so nobody gets offended. We're not trying to promote anything. Now, you have a vehicle, it's a bunch of rednecks, they're going to have a Confederate flag on it. It's just, it's just part of, it's just part of what it is. This is a Matchbox, I believe. Yep. So, yeah, good stuff. But this is a lot more fun than... It's more fun than World War II because, I can go in any store and I can find something that I could potentially find something to buy. And just having that, being able to do that is kind of cool. You're always on the lookout for stuff. So that's neat. And if you do find something to buy, it's like buying a lottery ticket, It's like, it's damn near free. Well, I shouldn't say that because I don't play a lottery. It may sound like, well, so you buy a lot of lottery tickets. No, I don't buy any. But it's basically, really inexpensive. So this isn't the only weathering we do on it, but this is the base color of the weathering, if you will. So, I've done 58 cars. I probably have several hundred tanks. We're going to give that a rest for a little bit. I don't think I'm going to do Ancients again. Because it's just too long of a commitment for one thing. It's like, oh, you want this, like you build one stand with 4 figures on it, and it's going to take me a whole week just to knock that out. That's just a big time commitment of not being able to do anything different. Okay, I think that was the last bit there. I think that was the last bit. Now, get this thing to dry out here. So you have my workspace again. Would you ever do a small platoon of Battletech bots? No, because I've done Battletech already. It was the first things that I sold. I would, and I keep talking about this, but it requires a lot of work. And right now, I don't mind spending time doing this because this is my therapy. Have something cool to put on the wall. Working on rules, not therapeutic at all. Playing the game, not really therapeutic. Creating stuff, therapeutic. I would like to play a game like Battletech with Transformers. I don't necessarily mean the big toys because they're cost prohibitive, right? And I'd have to weather them. But like the Battletech miniatures as Transformers. And somebody makes them, they're really expensive. But I want to paint them like with cell animation. So it would look like the 80s. I think that would be a cool game. I think that would be a really fun game. And it would play, like Battletech. And Battletech is a decent game. The computer version of Battletech is awesome. The one made by Harebrained Studios, which one of the BattleTech designers is on that team, and that's why it's so similar. I remember getting that. That was one of the first games I got for my computer 4 or 5 years ago when I got the computer. And I'm like, I already knew how to play the game. Like, I remembered, I hadn't played BattleTech in 20 years, but I remembered how to play the game. And it's really well done. But there's no point in painting the BattleTechs. I mean, I've done that before. You know, my battle mechs, by the way, were very similar to the Gaslands vehicles. They were multicolored. I didn't have like this lance all goes together. It's just, that's not my thing. I want them to be, you know, different, you know. So, okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out how to put something, assuming I can do this, I can put something that looks like a minigun in here. I don't know that I can do it. It needs to be able to fit inside here. And make sure this thing's dry. Otherwise, we're going to be handling this. We don't want to mess this up. Oh, good humor, man. Get your ass back in there. Okay. So it needs to be able to fit in here. Or otherwise, I'm just going to put a covering here with a slot, and it is just, we can just pretend to shoot out of both sides. Okay. Which is all right. I think it'd be cool to have a minigun looking in there, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lose this good humor man, which is about to fall off anyways. Where's my X-Acto knife? So we're going to remove this guy. And why is a good humor man? Well, he's holding on to a popsicle or something. The milch man. So we'll hold on to him. Okay. Let's see what we have here that would serve as a minigun. Now, I know I have a standing one. It doesn't necessarily need to move. It can just be out here somewhere. But it needs to be small enough. I have a small minigun. Like, that would be cool, but you're not going to be able to shoot out of the sides, right? Like, it's not going to be able to turn that way. What if I use them all up? There's no way. There's no way I use them all up. Like I said, the backup plan is just close it up and put a slot in there. Here's one. Here's another one. But the bottom of these are flat because they're meant to like go up against a hood or something like that. Almost like they're sunken. See if that's the only true option that I have. This. That's what I'm looking for. That one's not sunken. Okay, forget the sunken ones. Put this back. So I could put this on some form of pedestal in here that when you look in here, you could see a minigun that'll swivel to both sides. Alternatively, I could put one on one side and one on the other. Still going to have to move some kind of pedestal. That would be okay too. It's really, it has two, but it's not really two. It gets treated like two. I think I'd prefer to do the pedestal in the middle. So with that said, I'm going to remove this that seems to be like his feet. And see if there's something. Where's all my tubes at? We got more commentary. Let's see. Oh, no, I don't want to bend over on the weekend. I got all week for that. This could fit like that. This could fit like this. And this fits. Like so. We'll have to epoxy it on. I just wanted to see height-wise. So let me use some stickum. The stickum works really well to kind of visualize how things are going to look. So we need a little piece of stickum. We don't want it too thick, because then it just adds extra height and you're not really seeing the whole picture. And we're going to glue this to a pedestal. Okay. And this pedestal will be glued somewhere here in the middle. Okay, and then inside this, okay, so I like that, but we're going to need to scooch this further back so you can see it, the shape of the gun better. And that way, when you're looking at it, you can see that there is a little pintle mount, if you will, chain gun. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see if you can see it from your vantage point. But I think that would work. I think that would work. I think it works quite well, actually. And it's lined up perfectly with the back. Unfortunately, this doesn't have a back machine gun. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually not going to close that in. So if at some later time, I want to change it to shoot out of the back, or maybe even being turreted. I guess it could be turreted. You just have to shoot beside the guy that's driving. Whatever you do, don't signal to the right. You're going to blow your freaking hand off. You know, because they're crazy people. That's what crazy people would do, you know, inside of a car. You know? So I think that nails that just fine. Now we're going to look for a ram for this thing. Unfortunately, this thing has only a crew of 2. It looks like something that would have, you know, heck, 6 people in there, you know? Bag, for whatever reason, is falling apart. Yeah, we were going to have an early freaking lunch, that's for sure. Well, I woke up really early. I actually woke up about 45 minutes earlier than 5 o'clock. And because I went to bed at 9, I didn't feel like I needed to go back to sleep. I'm not worth a shit at night. Well, if you woke up later, well, if I woke up later, then on a work day, I'm screwed. I have to get up a lot earlier on a work day than normal. And I don't want to get up earlier on a day that I'm not doing whatever the hell I want. Damn it. Okay. So, and it should work great for you Britons, because I'm awake at a time that, works for you guys. So, Rams. Rams are in the bag of treats, and the bag of treats are here? Nope. Acá. All right, we want a wicked ram. And I have them. Just a matter of which one. Not that. That's Jersey barriers. Nope. Also, nope. Wow, I've never took a look at this. This futuristic weapons that I picked up recently, I've never used any of these weapons before. We're going to do some future vehicles. One of these, I look at this, and this looks like a laser culebrina. A laser culverin for you guys. Basically a bronze gun that's really long. Like the time of the Spanish Armada, or that's exactly what that looks like. Interesting. Very cool. Yeah, this guy does. These guys, both of them, do really good stuff. Switchyard Studios and Creepy Hero Studios. I guess it's all studios. Okay. It may be in here. We don't need a turret mount. It may be one of these. Nope. It may be one of those. Okay, we got some loose stuff here. Let me go ahead and put this over in the loose pile. All right, let's make sure that we have all of them to choose from before we make a decision. You can see I went out of town to get the tractor trailers. And as you can see, I'm not really in a hurry to make them. A couple reasons, but okay, there's some in there. These are turret mounts. No. I want to build what I want to fucking build. I don't want to build shit for other people. I want to build what I want to build when I want to build it. Because if you do your hobby for other people and other people don't respond by being available when you need them to, then you're just pissing up a rope. So I'll do shit when I want. And if it works, cool. If not, the whole purpose of doing this is really therapy. So I don't quit my job. That's like job one. All right, I think this is where the creepy fuckers are. This is exactly where it is. All right, let's find the body to this so that we get the right height. Okay, and the body is this blue bastard right here. And I believe it has blue wheels, which means these two are the wheels. I'm surprised they're the same height. There we go. Now I might as well take the time and glue them because they don't really need to be spinning for any reason whatsoever. Is this super glue still alive-ish? Yeah. Let's clog that in here. That was really weird that was thin like that. Something queer is afoot. Yep. This is the gel type. Maybe it's separated because it's cold in here. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense either. Should stay together more. I don't know. All right. Now we know what kind of height we're dealing with here. Yes, the inside's going to be painted black. Worry not. Oh, this is this style that I need to go in underneath. And then close it up like. All right, we need to make this bigger. What seems to be the problem here? All right, let's remove this for now. Why is this so tight a fit? Okay, it's hitting that. Is that what the problem is? All right. Well, we'll carve your ass out then. Well, bother me no more. Now. Okay. Now we have the height that this is going to be. I'm gonna leave the wheels blue. I think it works. I think it works. So, of the options that we have here, this one right off the bat seems like a good solution. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. You can still see the grill. It protects it. Pretty cool. That's a winner. I think this is meant to just attach out. It's okay too. Actually looks better than I thought it was going to, but I like this better. This is similar to the one for the bully goat, And since this is a flat front vehicle, let's not use that one. This is like an orc one. Okay, this is like another jaw that goes with that. These are all cool. They don't speak to me. I mean, if this is all I had, it would work. Okay, but I have other options. So I think this is what I had in mind. Something that was like a fence. This is what we're going to use. That's what we're going to use. Okay, let's put these guys back. Don't put the one you just picked out. Don't be your own worst enemy, Tony. Yeah, and in here, there's not. I like that. That's kind of what I was looking for. This guy just released something as soon as I bought this, and it looked really cool. And it was almost looked like a fence. It reminded me of, oh man, which one is it? Which Diablo is it? The Diablo where you actually go to hell. I want to say it might have been Diablo 2. I think it's Diablo 2. Man, it's been so long since I played that. And there's this one level that just looks like ruins of 40K. Like 40K Warhammer 40K Gothic shell of buildings just ruined on the landscape. And there's this fencing that reminds me of, they got like pokey bits, like you can't climb over it. Like, Put pon a Miley con la motosierra por la ventanilla. Who the hell's Miley? Is there a clown named Miley? With a chainsaw? I don't have any chainsaws. I don't. I wish I did. I wish I had clown figures, or figures that, I could convert into clown figures. But it's not like they're the only ones that don't have any figures. So, all right, I'm going to take a break because I'm hungry as hell. So, I'm probably going to take an early lunch. And I'm sure I'll be back at some point. Probably going to, at that point, this will be dry and we can try to finish these two. Yeah, see, the colors that we chipped up and we fixed, they're not that far away from them. By the time we do our weathering, it's going to be like, it's going to look just right. So. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys all later today. Bye-bye.